Continuing our journey with the doshas, today we are going to be doing a Vata Pitta balancing class. Vata Pitta is a really common combination, and it's also one of the most challenging dosha combos to manage because of the combined qualities of the mobile air and ether, and then fire and water is also like spreading, can whoo, and then you combine those two together and there's a lot of mobile quality there. And then if you combine also that mobile sort of movement with the intensity of pitta and ambition, it can just be like so, and one of the really common traits between both doshas as well, when that plays out in our health, is that tendency toward burnout. And Vata has it because Vata tends to go more imbalanced. When they're imbalanced, tends to go more towards, oh, I have an idea, I'm all inspired and I'm really excited, I'm going to go do all the things, and not pay attention to my energy levels and doing things in a way that is kind of balanced and logical. It's like go, 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 go until I completely exhaust myself and then crash. And that cycle can kind of perpetuate as a lifestyle, coupled with abhorring routine, you know, so that it's just this like, and then over time, it really does take its toll on the body. And instead of it being a crash and, oh, I need a day to recuperate, it becomes like, whoa, I just can't seem to get my energy back on track and feeling a bit flat, lost my sparkle. And Pitta, when that fire burns so bright, they get so hooked on their goals and their ambitions, and they will also kind of go until the death. Like, I'm not going to stop until I get there, and have a similar kind of burnout experience, but theirs is probably more longer endurance, long term. And in any case, both tend to have that. So when you combine Vata Pitta as a dosha, there's just a really there's a tendency there to experience that kind of pushing through and doing a lot and staying busy, and even then more on a physical kind of physiological level, those qualities of air and fire, when they're really hyper or in a predominant sort of state, they tend to burn up or dry out the unctuousness that our body needs, and dry up the tissues and kind of burn through the oil and burn through the water elements in our body. So yeah, it takes away from some of that kapha quality as well. So anyway, I'm sharing this with you not to be like, oh, you know, damn this dosha combination, but more just like, hey, you might have experienced this and you're always wondering, like, why do I keep ending up in this cycle? Or why does it feel like this? And it's sometimes nice to have these insights of typical journeys of, you know, the doshas towards imbalance, so that you don't feel like you have to be a victim to them. You can start to see things unfolding or heading that way, and then start to notice, oh, I'm doing that typical thing. It's not me, it's my dosha. My dosha made me do it. So yeah, I share this with you not to spook you and not to talk about the doshas in a negative way, just in a very pragmatic, hey, this is what typically happens. So in the chat box, can anyone relate to Vata Pitta and any of the sort of experiences that I spoke about? Just out of curiosity, really. Yes. So in tonight's class, we are going to honor that Vata Pitta, by nature, they do love to move, and it feels good to move, and you probably have quite a little bit of energy naturally. And to go straight into, okay, we're just going to do yin now, almost feels a little bit like a shock to the system, and can leave somebody who's feeling really agitated by high Vata and Pitta. If you go straight to the floor, straight to restorative, but you've got a lot of activity going on in your mind, it can be a little bit frustrating. So what we're going to do is do a little bit gentle movement, get a little bit of juices flowing, and gradually wind down to then really cooling, calming practices that will help to just allow you to feel really grounded and restore. So I do invite you to use props for tonight's class. Pittas and Vatas, I think, too, can be a bit stubborn about implementing support, but we are going to be, using some props because it feels good, because we want to restore, because we want to support ourselves, and we don't need to push, we don't need to explore our edge tonight. We're just going to go through the motions and romanticize it a little bit. Let it be flowing, let it feel good, let it feel nice. And hopefully that will just bring you into that more soft, nurturing, Kapha kind of quality and mindset. All right, let's get started. So sitting comfortably, and when you're ready, closing your eyes, placing your hands wherever they feel comfortable. Just taking some time to become present wherever you are. Noticing the air temperature. Noticing any sounds kind of carried through the atmosphere. And feeling the sensation of air and space enveloping your body. And start to soften into your hips. Soften into your legs. And that whole base under your hips and any of the parts of your legs that are touching the floor. Really settling into and feeling that connection to the earth beneath you. And softening through your belly. On your next inhale, lifting from the base of your spine all the way up to your upper back, your neck, and into the crown of your head. And continue lifting through your spine as you relax your shoulders down away from your ears. Soften your elbows. Relax your wrists and hands. And tuning into your breath. Just using it as a focal point to focus your mind. Observing the qualities of your breath. Soft and light. Inhaling, feeling the gentle expansion of your chest and your body. Exhaling, feeling everything softening and gently contracting. A couple more nice, easy breaths here. And then we'll move into Nadi Shodhan, alternate nostril breathing. All right, setting ourselves up now for this breath technique. taking the ring finger and your thumb to rest on either nostril. And we're going to inhale through one side, exhale out the other side, then inhale through that side, exhale out the opposite side, and just keep going back and forth, inhaling through one nostril, exhaling out the other side, inhaling through that nostril, exhaling out the other side, and you're just applying a little pressure to each nostril, closing off that nostril to allow the breath to flow up just one side. So going in your own time. Just taking your time with each breath. And once you've got the hang of switching from one nostril to the other, really breathing deeply and feeling your lungs expand, feeling your belly rise and fall with your breath. And let's do 2 more rounds on each side. And when you've finished, placing one hand to your belly over your solar plexus area and one hand to your heart center. And getting ready for some Gauranga breathing. And if you like, now that you guys are familiar with Gauranga breathing, you can visualize channeling the mantra Gauranga right down into your heart center. So exhaling completely. Take a deep breath in. Gauranga. Keep going in your own breath rate. Gauranga. 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 One more time. Gauranga. And bring your hands together in prayer position. Resting here for a moment, allowing all the effects of the mantra to resonate through your mind and heart. Just noticing how you feel already this early on in your practice. Some breathing, some awareness, some mantra. It was a nice little practice in itself. All right, now beginning our practice, open your eyes. And for today's practice, make sure you have your bolster, your blocks, but also your yoga belt. We're going to do Thunderbolt pose to start with, which is sitting on your knees, sitting on your heels, sorry. If this feels a little uncomfortable, you can bring a bolster under your hips and over the top. Oh, this feels amazing. Over the top of your heels. And from here, I'm actually going to keep this here. Placing your hands on your lap Start to sink down into your hips, lift into your spine, interlock your hands, and press your palms away, raise the arms up, shoulders down away. And
Your mic isn't working anymore, Sammy.
is it working now? Hello?
Okay. Yeah, now it's okay.
Okay, I must have squished it closed.
Underwater.
I'll move it down. Here we go. All right, let's try that again. Press the hands away. Inhale, lift up. Shoulders down away from the ears. Well, you only missed the joke how I said that my pants and my bolster are the same color and you can't hardly see my legs. And holding this position for a few more breaths, lengthening through the spine, grounding through the hips. Really try to focus on dropping down into your hips, but lifting up from the waist, lifting up through the spine. Exhale, release the arms, taking your left hand to your right thigh, right hand behind you, turning to look over your shoulder. Keep breathing naturally. And around to the other side. Right hand to the left thigh, left hand behind you, turning to look over your shoulder. Tuning into your breath. Feeling that gentle stretch and rotation through your spine. Remove my bolster. And from here, walking the hands forward and taking the hands out in front, head to the floor. Keep reaching out into your fingertips, holding this position. So staying quite active through your upper body, but heavy through the hips and legs. Looking between your hands, walking your hands over to the left, reaching out into the right fingertips. Again, heavy through the hips, pressing down into your palms. Inhale, hands back to center and over to the other side. Just really tuning into your breath here as a way to prepare for your practice. Walking your hands back and walking yourself back up to sit. Coming down into your hips and bringing some movement and mobility into the hip area. So starting with your feet together and rocking your knees from side to side. So we're going to be gradually moving the feet wider apart, changing that angle on the hip, which will help to just work into different areas of the hips. Now come back to center, walk your feet a little bit wider, about hip distance apart. Start rocking your knees from side to side. And just noticing if you're feeling it anywhere on your hips. You can stay there a little longer if you like. And even apply a little pressure, pressing your knees down toward the floor as you take them over to one side. Come back to center, taking your feet as wide as the mat. Just start by kind of passive rocking from side to side. Good. And when you're ready, start to actively press the knees down toward the floor, feeling that stretch through the hips, not so much in the joints, but around the joints. Inhale, over to the other side, holding there, staying with your breath, still breathing evenly. And come back to center, lowering your right knee down. And pressing down into your knee and lifting gently through the right buttocks so that you get a nice stretch through the front of the hip and the thigh. Raise the knee back up, lower the left knee down, press the knee down and gently lift. You can make it a little bit dynamic if you like. Good. And both knees back up. Coming over onto all fours for some dynamic cat-cows. So using this as an opportunity to connect your breath and your movement, setting yourself up first, spreading your fingers and thumbs nice and wide, stacking your wrists under your shoulders and your knees under your hips. And when you're ready, inhaling, tilt the pelvis forward and look forward. Press the floor away. Exhale, tuck the tailbone, chin in toward the chest, lifting through the belly. And when you're ready to inhale, then start moving. So using your breath as a guide when to change positions. When you're ready to inhale, start arching through your back. When you're ready to exhale, start tucking the tailbone, tucking the chin. 2 more times. And come back to neutral. Walk the hands forward, dive the chest to the floor. Some little cobra warm-ups to get ready for our sun salutations. Inhaling, raising the chest and shoulders. Exhale, lower down. You can gently squeeze through your buttocks a little if you like, if it helps to feel more stable. And when you feel like you can go a little higher, pressing down into your palms, elbows working in holding cobra, opening up through your chest and collarbones. Exhale, lower down. 1 more time. Inhale. I'm already regretting my choice of hairstyle. Every time I go to the floor, I get a mouthful of hair. Lie down. Inhaling, taking your hips back to your heels. And child's pose. Stretching out through your spine. Coming up onto all fours. Tuck the toes. Start to walk your feet to meet your hands. Bending through your knees. Folding forward. Laying your belly over your thighs. Inhale. Start to raise your body up, flatten your back. Exhale, fold. Keeping your knees bent to warm up. Inhale, start to slowly, gradually straighten them a little. Exhale. Inhale, sliding your hands up your shins. Exhale. Maybe keeping your legs straight here if it feels appropriate. Inhale, one last time. Exhale. Bending through your knees and slowly roll up. Shoulders down away from your ears. Turning your palms forward. 1 breath in mountain pose before we begin our sun salutations. Let's go. All right. Standing at the front of your mat, hands together in prayer position. Inhale, reaching up. Exhale, folding forward. Bend through the knees if you need to. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, folding forward, starting to make your way back into plank position. Take a deep breath in. Elbows working in as you lower down. Inhaling, cobra or upward dog. Exhaling, lifting the hips back, coming into downward dog. Have a look at your hands, check that your fingers and thumbs are spread nice and wide. Press the floor away and lift into your hips. Maybe bending through the knees if you like. Or just finding your way into a comfortable downward dog position, however that looks for you. I'm just going to linger here a little longer for our first one. And inhaling, raise your right leg up. Exhale, step your foot forward, drop your back knee down, flatten the back foot. Inhale, reach up, soften the hips down. Exhale, hands to the floor. Step back into plank, lower down. Inhale, upward dog. Exhale, downward dog. Inhale the left leg up. Exhale, step your foot forward, back knee down, flatten the back foot. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, hands to the floor. Step back, lower down. Inhaling up. Exhale, downward dog. And looking between your hands and jumping or stepping your feet forward. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, fold. Inhale, finding your way up to standing. Exhale, hands to heart center. Again, inhale. Exhale, folding forward. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, fold. Jump or step back into plank. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, upward dog. Exhale, downward dog. Holding for 3 breaths. Press the floor away, lift into the sitting bones, and gently encourage your heels down toward the floor. Inhaling, raise your right leg. Exhale, step your foot through. Inhale. Exhale, hands to the floor. Step back into plank. Lower down. Inhaling up. Exhale, downward dog. Inhale the left leg up. Exhale, step it through. Drop your back knee down, flatten your back foot. Inhale. Exhale. Step back. Lower down. Inhaling up. Exhale, downward dog. Looking between your hands and jump or step your feet forward. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, fold. Inhale, all the way up. Hands together. Exhale, in front of your heart center. Inhale, reaching up again. Exhaling. Inhale. Flat back. Exhale, fold. Jump or step back into plank. Lower down. Inhaling, upward dog. Exhaling, downward dog. Holding here for 3 breaths. Coming down to your knees if you need to, or even bringing a nice relaxed bend through your knees. Don't feel like you have to be extra disciplined and do things the same way you always do. You can bring some softness into your practice whenever you feel it's needed or it feels appropriate. Inhaling the right leg up. Exhale. Step your foot forward, back knee down, flatten the foot. Inhale. Exhale. Step back, lower down. Inhaling up. Exhale, downward dog. Inhale the left leg up. Exhale, step your foot forward. Drop your back knee down. Inhaling. Exhale. Step back, lower down. Inhaling up. Exhale, downward dog. And look between your hands, jumping or stepping forward. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, fold. Inhale, come all the way up. Exhale. Hands in front of your heart center. Now opening your palms forward, taking a deep breath here, noticing the effects of the sun salutes, circulation of energy, of prana, and starting to settle your breath now, calming the breath down, slowing it down, helping to slow down your heart rate. All right. Our sun salutes for the day done. Yes. Go team. All right, it's from here. Getting ready to go through a chair sequence. Inhale, reaching up. And seeing if, exhale, hands to your heart center for a moment. So I don't have you hanging out in chair while I talk things through. See if you can bring an attitude of ease into challenging poses. So So much of your psychological state will dictate how you experience the pose. So yes, chair can be a strengthening pose. It can feel challenging at times, but see if you can really soften into your mind and start to gather in, kind of like withdraw from feeling the sensations in your body, but withdrawing from them a little and just breathing easy, letting it be easy. All right, inhale, reaching up. Nice and long through the spine. Exhale, bend through the knees, sweeping the hands down and through. Floating the arms up to either shoulder height or arms up by your ears. Navel drawing in. And lift through your spine and lift all the way through your front body. Holding here. Staying here for a few breaths. Inhale. Exhale. Folding forward now, straightening out through your legs. Now here, if you like, you can take blocks underneath your hands. You're going to draw in for a forward fold, bringing your forehead in toward your shins. Staying there for a moment. And then inhaling, press into the floor or your blocks, flat back. Exhale, release into a forward fold, bend through the knees, come up through chair. And we're going to do that round 3 more times, 2 more times, 3 total. Do that sequence. So holding here, shoulders down away from your ears, softness in the mind, strength in the body. And cultivating steadiness in your thoughts, your breath. Inhale and exhale. Releasing forward into a forward fold. Try to keep your hips stacked above your ankles. And if you like, you can either work with your blocks or take a belt under your feet or holding on to the backs of your calves or ankles, drawing in. And hands to the floor. Inhale, lengthening into flat back. Exhale, draw into a forward fold. Inhale, bend through the knees. One last round. Holding chair. Not being afraid to drop down into your seat. Lift through the belly. Exhale. Come forward, making your way into forward fold and finding a way to lengthen through your belly, through the front body first, hinging at the hips, lengthening through your spine, and then drawing against your blocks, your ankles, bringing your upper body in closer toward your legs. Inhale, hands to the floor, fingertips to the floor or blocks, flat back. Reaching back into your sitting bones. Exhale, come forward. Inhale, coming up through chair and straighten your legs. Hands together in front of your heart center. And again, turning your palms forward. Take a breath. Love the prana rush. And inhaling, reaching up. Exhaling, folding forward. We'll go into high runner's lunge through a vinyasa. But if you're already feeling like, no, I'm done with vinyasas, you can already start to just step your leg back and just hang in a really easy version of high runner's lunge until we meet you there. So reaching up, exhaling, folding forward. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, fold. Jump or step back into plank. Exhale. Inhale, upward dog. Exhale, downward dog. Enjoying a nice stretch out in downward dog. Inhale the right leg up. Exhale, stepping your foot forward. Back knee stays up off the floor. Inhale, taking the arms up. And thinking about weight distribution in your body. So lift up out of the hips, lift out of the waistline. Your upper body is quite active, shoulders down away from your ears. Shoulders are stacked above your hips. But just as you're dropping down into this front leg, you're equally reaching back into your back leg. So you're getting this beautiful, almost even distribution, creating a sense of buoyancy through your upper body. Holding for a few more breaths. And hands to your heart center. Carefully lower your back knee down, flatten your back foot. Hands to your front knee, going straight into a lunge. Moving from high lunge to low lunge. Lots of sighs from Sammy today. I'm not sure why. Inhale, reaching up. Exhale, hands to the floor. And straighten out through your back leg, going into a half split position. Lengthening back into your hips. Inhale, come forward. Exhale. A little stretch here. Forward. Back. One last time. And hands to the floor. Step back into plank, either skipping the vinyasa and going back into downward dog or lower down. Inhaling up. Exhale. Downward dog. Inhale the left leg up. Let's do the other side. Stepping that foot forward. Setting yourself up with a nice strong foundation. Lengthen into your back heel. And softening down to this front leg. Inhale, float the arms up. Shoulders down away from your ears. In the same attitude as our chair pose, how can we make this strengthening, kind of strongish pose softer by bringing softness into the mind, by settling into your breath. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, hands to heart center and slowly lower your back knee down. Flatten through your back foot, hands to your front knee. And adjusting your foot forward a little if needed to drop down into a comfortable low lunge. Inhaling. Reaching up and then exhaling. Hands forward and take the hips back. Come forward. Exhale back. Inhaling forward. Exhaling back. And stepping back into plank. Lower down. Inhaling. And just because that pose does have a little bit of a back bend, I think it might feel nice to take a child's pose. So let's come forward. Belly on the thighs, head to the floor. Resting in child's pose. And then slowly lift up. All right. I'm going to grab my blocks for this one for side angle pose with a little extra support for alignment and that sense of openness and less struggle. If you would like to use the blocks, go ahead. Or if you have a chair close by and you'd like to have a chair under your hand as well, that's another nice option. So option to go straight into downward dog or coming through a vinyasa, lowering the chest to the floor. Inhaling up. Exhaling. Coming back into downward dog. Inhale the right leg up. Exhale. Stepping your foot forward. I'm going to grab my block here. Placing it just behind the outside, just behind to you guys. Just on the outside of my right ankle. So either top setting, halfway down, or flat. I'm going to go top setting. Just make sure you've got a nice even pressure into that block. And you can even press the block a little into your ankle, and that will help prevent it from wobbling a little bit. Spin the back foot down. And we have talked about hip rotation and hip kind of openness as well. So if you want to have your toes in, go ahead. Otherwise, if it feels more comfortable with feet opened out to the side, foot open out to the side a little, go ahead. And setting up your foundation. So we're trying to create a line from the ankle to the hip, to the shoulder, and extend it up into the arm, and dropping down into a right angle with that front leg. So just make any adjustments that you need to, whether it's moving that back foot out a little more or lifting it forward and bringing it forward a little more and lifting through your upper body. Everyone's side angle looks slightly different depending on your body, your proportions, your joints. Staying there for a few breaths and noticing too how the more you press down into your palm, the more you take a little weight off your leg and hip. Inhaling, rotate around. I basically talked all the way through that one. I'm so sorry. I left you hanging there a while. And vinyasa through to the other side. Downward dog. Inhale, raise the left leg up. And taking that foot forward. Setting yourself up. Pressing down into a block if you're using one. Spin the back foot down. Get nice and comfortable through your hips, adjusting your foot back if you need to, or bringing it closer. And then trying to create that line from ankle, hip, shoulder to the arm. Pressing down into the block, opening up through your chest. And staying nice and buoyant through the hips, not collapsing down into your hips. One more breath. Spin the back foot forward. Set your block to the side. Hands to the floor, step back. Lower down. Inhaling up. Exhale, downward dog. Walking your feet forward. And slowly roll up. Hands together in prayer position. And step the feet wide. Or supported wide-legged forward fold. If you have a chair, it can feel really nice to bring the seat of a chair right in front and just come into a half forward fold and hang forward. There's a really nice way to practice a modification of this pose. I'm going to do a smaller version, but I invite you to choose some form of support for wide-legged forward fold. Once you have your props set up, your feet separated nice and wide, hands to your hips, setting up like you usually would. So legs are nice and switched on, and start to fold forward at the hips, long through the spine. Take a moment here, and then leaning into your support system. So wherever that is, maybe even just coming forward onto a bolster, might even feel nice. We're just going to hang out here and enjoy a gentle stretch through the legs and the benefits of a nice, pretty easy inversion. Placing your arms and hands wherever they feel comfortable. And while your upper body hangs forward, try to keep your legs nice and active. So you're still lifting through your kneecaps and firming your thighs. Hopefully still feeling a stretch through the backs of your legs. If not, that's okay too. I'll just stay here for a few more breaths. And if you have been engaging in Ujjayi breathing, rasping breath throughout your practice, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that, but just if you want to, see if you can soften your breath, just nice, steady, easy breathing, cultivating that softness through the throat. Just soft, gentle breathing. Starting to come out of the pose. Pressing into your hands, lifting out of the pose. Setting your props aside. Bend through your knees, hands to your hips. Lift up. Heel toe your feet back together. Shake out your legs. Turning your palms forward. Taking it all in, letting everything balance out. And then making your way down to the floor, making sure that your props are still within arm's reach. All right. Starting with your legs out in front. A little shake after that nice stretch. Move the flesh away from your sitting bones. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, folding forward. I'm going to use my belt for this stretch tonight. Before we get started. So setting yourself up with your prop of choice. Taking the belt around the soles of your feet. And lift up. I'm noticing already just that experience, even without the forward fold, as you draw against the belt, how it creates this beautiful lift through your spine and this space through the front of your body. And then slowly starting to fold forward. If you are using the belt, I like to just bring my elbows to rest on top of my thighs, and that gives them kind of a resting place so that you're not really putting too much into your shoulders. And keep flexing back with your feet and toes and just gently drawing against the belt. Firming your thighs, lifting your kneecaps. When your body starts to yield, seeing if you can drop, moving your elbows out to the sides of your legs. Seeing if you can lift through your belly and drop a little deeper into the pose. Keep holding for another couple of breaths. And slowly come up, inhale. I'm going to continue using the belt as we move into head to knee pose. So we're going to be alternating from one leg to the other. If you are using a belt, simply remove one foot, bringing that foot into your inner thigh. So I've just moved my left foot into my right inner thigh. Now I'm holding the belt around the right sole of my foot. Lift and lengthen, holding the belt with both hands to begin. And exhale. Doing the same thing again, where you're kind of starting by just allowing your arms to rest on your leg, and then get comfortable. And as you start to feel kind of release through your leg, through your back area, just allowing your elbows to fall to the outsides of your leg, drawing your upper body over your front leg. And maybe, as the pose is called, bringing your head to your knee. Inhaling. Slowly come up, come all the way up and reset. So lift through your spine and take your left foot to the belt. Bring your right foot in. Lift and lengthen first. And walk your hands down the belt as you fold forward. And get familiar with the feeling first. Settle into this side. And when you're ready, maybe elbows to the floor, holding your belt, drawing against your foot still, so it's still creating that lift through your front body, helping you to lengthen through your spine, and then maybe head to knee. Keeping your thigh nice and firm. And getting ready to release. Release the belt. Your legs a little wiggle. And then bring both feet to the floor, hands behind you. We're going to take the right ankle to the top of the left thigh and go into a kind of seated pigeon stretch. So it's similar feeling to the classical pigeon pose, where you get that nice stretch through the outer hip. You're going to press the knee away and lift your lower back forward, and that's going to accentuate the stretch. Holding here. And then transitioning now to straighten the left leg into a nice, easy ankle mobility exercise, where you just rotate around through the foot. And you can give your feet some love as we do these exercises. So if you want to take your thumbs and knead into the soles of your feet, go ahead. Some beautiful mama points in there. So right in the center of your foot, you might feel a little sensitive area. And taking the breath there, taking some gentle, loving pressure there over that little sweet spot. And feeling into the toes, curling them forward and back. And change sides. Straighten out through the right leg. Right foot to the floor, then left ankle to the top of the thigh. Lift the lower back forward, press the knee away. And softening into your breath. Not letting it become an endeavor to move into a deep stretch, just enjoying a nice, comforting sensation, a comfortable stretch. Staying in that feel-good zone, soft in the mind. Straightening out through your right leg. And then same with this foot. Starting to rotate around through your foot. Just mobilizing the ankle joint. Bringing it up. Playing with your toes a little. Drawing them forward. Flexing them back. And then using your thumbs to knead into the soles of your foot. And finding that same spot on this left side now. So looking for that sensitive mama point that exists like right in the sole of your foot, right in the middle of the sole of your foot. Holding there. Good. And release. Shake out your legs. All right, let's get our bolsters or just a nice pillow if you don't have a bolster. A nice thick pillow. Make sure it's handy. I'm going to start with locust pose and we're going to move into a supported upward bow using the bolster. And of course, you'll have the option if you're feeling like you want to go into a full bow, because it feels like a challenging, confronting pose, but when you do it, no matter where you land, how in your mind you might perceive that you look a certain kind of awkward, it's still so invigorating. And it really gets into some beautiful spots through our back that we just can't get to in easy day-to-day kind of movements. So let's start by warming up in locust, coming down on the floor. And you know what? You could actually use your bolster here for a bit of a locust support. So we'll start by reaching our arms by our sides, lifting up through the chest, raise the legs. Or supported version, taking your hands forward to rest on your bolster, press into your bolster to help you lift. And softening into your breath. Lower your feet down. And lower your arms. And then taking hold of one foot. Maybe with both hands, maybe with one hand. Pressing your hip into the floor and pressing your heel into your hip. Change sides. Just gradually warming up. Slowly warming up all the parts of our body that are going to be used in this next pose. And if you can go further, holding both feet, forehead to the floor. And starting to get a good grip of your ankles. And maybe you leave your thighs on the floor and just lift through the hips, flexing through lift through the chest, flexing through your feet. Or maybe you start to lift through the thighs. I'm only going to go this far tonight. So I'm trying to not be overly ambitious. But exhaling, release. Just going to show you a variation where you can use the bolster under your hips. So if you would like to try a supported modification, taking the bolster under your hip bones and belly and reaching for your feet, and it just gives you this, I can lift my chest. And it helps to create a bit of space through the front body and length through your spine. So press your feet away. And the more you press your feet away, that is what's pulling your arms and chest up. So having a nice firm grip on the ankles. Softly breathing. Exhale. Let's just flop over our bolster. Maybe move forward a little. And just rocking your hips from side to side a little. Hands to the floor. You can do that one more time if you like, just to make the most of it while we're here. Otherwise, just going into child's pose. Ah, yes, shoulders. Exhaling. Tuck the toes. And I'm going to go supported child's pose as a counter pose with the bolster underneath my body, folding forward, head to turn to one side. Staying here for 5 breaths. I keep moving my head because I got it so I can talk to the mic. But you guys just fold forward. And then turning your head to the other side. Slowly making your way out of this position. Slide your bolster away and grab your belt. We're going to finish up now with the belt hamstring series. If you haven't done this before, I tell you, you're going to love it and you're going to want to do it all the time. All right, so coming down into our back, this is our last little sequence before we get ready to finish up our practice. So, starting with both legs bent, and if you have stuff around you, just be mindful that we're going to drop our leg one side and to the other. So for me, I'm going to actually have to spin around so I can drop my leg because the wall's right there. But if you need to do any reshuffling, go ahead and do that now. Both feet to the floor to begin. Take the middle of your belt around the sole of your right foot. Press the foot up toward the ceiling. Shoulders down away from your ears, and just try to soften into your face. So we're going to use the belt to draw the leg in and release it out. And try and keep your hips grounded onto the floor. Drawing in and out. When it comes to the breath, I personally feel like both ways feel good. It feels good to inhale and lengthen, but it also feels good to exhale and use the exhalation to deepen into the pose. So you have a play around with your breath and see which one feels most natural. Whatever you do, do keep breathing, please. So you're just essentially moving with your breath, inhaling and exhaling. And we'll do it one more time and then we'll hold the leg in. All right, holding it in and just breathing steadily as you hold your leg in, feeling a nice stretch through the back of your leg. For a stronger version, straightening out through your left leg, flexing your toes back toward you. And try not to scrunch up through the shoulders. Keep them pressing down away from your ears. And exhale, bending through the knee. You can keep using your belt if you like. You just hold the belt. I'm just not going to because I'm going to try and squeeze my leg in here without using the belt. But you continue holding the belt in this way. You can just lay it to one side, still around the sole of your foot if you like. We're going to draw the knee in toward your armpit. So you're going into a half happy baby. If this is feeling too strong with that supporting leg straight, just bending through that knee and bring the foot back to the floor. So keep pressing down into the sole of your foot and you'll feel that stretch through the groin and hip. Now, inhaling, bring either your first 2 fingers around your big toe or holding onto the belt again. We're going to raise the leg up and take that leg out to the side. All the way out to the side. I'm just going to do a lift it up, squish it in there. And keep pressing that left foot away. So if you are using the belt, you just take your leg all the way out to the side, and then you can prop your leg up as well. I'll show you from this angle in case you've never done it before, just so you can get the feeling. So leg goes out to the side, and then you can press your elbow to the floor and just pull against the belt, and then it should be that your leg is suspended in the air, so you're not going further than your leg has capacity for, your hip. And then slowly you might notice that things drop open a little, and then you can just keep pulling against the belt to control that movement. And then slowly, 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 the left hip keeps pressing down as your leg journeys down toward the floor. And then for more of a challenge, you can slide the foot up closer toward your head. You might be able to hold. I might stay in this position actually, because it's probably easier to, I guess, easier to show on video. All right, to come out of this position, engaging through your core, take both hands to your belt and bring your leg back up. Now we're going to go across body, and there's two ways that you can do this. So the easier version is the path of least resistance, where you just take the leg over and it almost goes more into a spinal twist. You still get a stretch through the outer hip. You can still feel the stretch through the leg. And doing a similar thing on this side, pulling against the belt to control how deep your leg goes into this position. Now, the intense version is to try and keep your leg straight up, keep it perpendicular to the floor, and then take it across body. And you'll notice that you start to feel a little bit of resistance and strong sensations through your hip and leg much sooner. So I can only take my leg that far before it gets like panic level of intense. So I'm just going to go here. I like doing this harder version because I figure it's hitting something for me that is needing a little extra, a little extra attention. So just staying there for a few breaths. And then both hands to the belt, bringing your leg back to center. And then we're going to take the hands, one side of the belt in each hand, and doing that same exercise again, drawing in. Last final little stretches. And when you're ready, this is the best part. This is the best part. Remove your belt, but keep your leg up. And then you're going to float your leg down as if it's floating down in the sky through some fluffy clouds. Ah, yes. And then straighten out both legs, allowing your feet to fall naturally out to the sides, and just noticing that beautiful rush of energy, of circulation, of fluids through that right leg. And see if you can close your eyes and just feel the difference between the right hip and leg and the left. Beautiful. Alrighties, let's do the other side. So starting with both feet on the floor. Taking the middle of your belt around the sole of your left foot. Your leg up in the air. Once you're comfortable, let's start drawing the leg in and out. Moving with your breath, whether that's inhaling to lengthen or exhaling to lengthen. Couple more times. And if you wanted to straighten your right leg, go ahead. And so just moving the belt to the side as you bring the sole of your foot in and bringing that knee down toward your armpit, thighs sliding down along your ribs. And as we start to work the leg out to the side a little, just try to keep that right hip, right buttock working down toward the floor. And make sure these right toes still keep flexing back toward you, keeping that right leg nice and active. Alrighties. Taking hold of the belt again as you send that foot right up into the air. And taking hold of the belt as close as you can toward your foot with your left hand. And then we're going to carefully lower the leg out to the left. And you've got your second hand here as well to also pull against the belt to help control the movement. And then as you start to settle into this position, maybe you can hold the sole of your foot and draw your foot up toward your head. Staying there a couple more breaths. If you need to modify bending through that supporting leg. Drawing against the belt, navel drawing in, raise that leg back up to center. And getting ready to take it across body. So dropping the leg for a less intense version and allowing your leg to just go all the way over. Or leg perpendicular. Right leg is nice and firm. Keep breathing as you take that leg directly across your body until you feel these sensations. If you're having any issues going across because of your thigh, you can take your thumb right into the crease of your hip and just lift the tissue of your thigh up. So it gives your hip a little bit more space, and then you can take your leg across with a little more ease. And come back to center. Take hold of the belt, one side in each hand, and drawing in and out a few more times. It's like sign number 10 from Sammy tonight. It's kind of a bliss sigh, I think. I'm like, yes. Purring. All right. And release the belt. Keep your foot up in the air. Get ready. And slowly, slowly float that leg down, imagining those beautiful fluffy clouds. And a foot to the floor. Allow both feet to fall out to the sides. Give your legs a little shake and then relax completely. Close your eyes. Take a little mini Shavasana here. Enjoying that beautiful rush of prana, blood, fluids. And then move your belt to the side. Let's grab our beloved bolsters. We're going to do a supported spinal twist. So taking your bolster alongside your left side of your body and bending through the right knee, taking it across to the left, and rolling over on your hip as needed, and just allowing that leg to lay on the bolster. And then extend your right arm out at shoulder height, turning to look over toward your right fingertips, gently encouraging your right shoulder down toward the floor. And your left hand presses down on top of your right thigh, working your knee down toward the floor. Even though it's resting on the bolster, still gives a nice little stretch through the spine. And start to close your eyes if you like. Getting ready after this pose to move into Shavasana and Yoga Nidra. And slowly make your way back to center. Roll your bolster over to the other side. Flop. And bend the left knee, taking your left knee over to rest and thigh to rest on top of the bolster, rolling over onto the right hip, extending your left arm out at shoulder height, turning to look over to the left. Right hand rests on top of the left thigh, gently pressing down into that leg. Inhale and exhale. Slowly release. Both feet to the floor. Hug your knees to your chest and make some circles with your knees. And taking any last little stretches or movements that your body is craving, and making yourself comfortable in Shavasana. If you've got a bolster there, taking the bolster under your knees. Turning your palms up and allowing your feet to fall out to the sides. I'll guide you through simple guided relaxation now. First, just enjoying and observing how your body feels after your practice. Noticing how your mind feels. And so having some awareness around, we were working on calming Vata and Pitta. Noticing how your whole system feels energetically, physically, as it maybe, hopefully, allowed you to feel more settled, maybe taken the edge off any Vata Pitta-ness. Now bringing your awareness all the way down to the soles of your feet. And relax from your toes down through the soles of your feet. And feel your heels getting heavier and heavier. Relax your ankles. Relax your lower legs, your knees, your thighs. Soften into your hips. And soften into your belly. Feel the sides of your torso melting down toward the floor. Relax into your chest, your lungs, your ribs. And soften into your heart center. Soften into your collarbones. Relax your shoulders, your shoulder blades. Relax into your upper arms, your lower arms, your wrists and hands. Move your awareness to your lower back area. Feel your sacrum broadening and relaxing. Relax your lower back, your middle back, your upper back, and your neck. Feel all the muscles either side of your spine relaxing, releasing any tension. Your head is heavy, and your face is soft. Let your mouth be soft. Relax through your jaw. Feel your entire body to be heavy and relaxed. You feel safe and warm. And taking this time to contemplate the yoga wisdom of Aham Brahmasmi. I am not my body. I am not my mind. I am the spirit soul seated within the body, witness to the mind. I am an eternal spark of the Supreme Soul. And sometimes throughout our busy day, reflecting on this wisdom, this mantra, Aham Brahmasmi, can give us just what we need to create a little space from our busy minds, from our desires, our ambitions, all these things that tug at us and make us feel like we have to do it. It's me. This is me feeling this. This is me wanting this or wanting to do this. Not realizing that sometimes those desires or ambitions are actually just distractions, just pulling us here and there. So getting more and more familiar with this practice of contemplating Aham Brahmasmi. I'm not my body. I'm not my mind. I am spirit soul, an eternal spark of the Supreme Soul. Can help us to realize our spiritual nature a little more gradually each time in conjunction with our yoga practices, and can eventually start to become a little bit of a saving grace that helps us intercept our mind and when we get caught up in these cycles of feeling like I must keep going, I must do all the things. Just taking this time, this last minute or so, to see if you can withdraw from your external environment, staying conscious and aware, but withdrawing from the mind a little, practicing creating a bit of space. And maybe holding the mantra Gauranga in your mind, just silently to yourself, focusing your mind on the mantra. And now slowly coming back into your body, wriggling your fingers and toes. I need to rock your head from side to side. Rolling over onto your right side before coming up to sit. And we'll finish with just a little kirtan. You guys can just join in as you feel comfortable. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimati Sira Swarupananda Paramahamsa Iti Namine. Your turn. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimati Sira Swarupananda Paramahamsa Iti Namine. Vajashri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasade Gaur Bhakta Vrindam. Vajashri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasade Gaur Bhakta Vrindam. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Last time. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Haribol. Let's bring our hands together in prayer position, vowing to offer our respects to each other. And vowing once more to offer our respects to the Supreme Soul. Namaste, everybody. Thank you so much. It was lovely to practice with you.